The season 14 final of Moonshiners delivered an intense episode that included innovative distilling techniques as the cast faced increasing pressure from law enforcement. Mark Ramsey and Digger Maines, two of the most experienced moonshiners, found themselves under surveillance, forcing them to take desperate measures to avoid arrest. Meanwhile, Mike Cockrell and Jerry Benson pushed their skills to the limit by designing a groundbreaking column still to maximize production. Elsewhere, the late veteran moonshiner Kenny Law assisted a distilling legend in creating a unique lavender-infused moonshine. The episode captured the high-risk nature of illegal distilling, highlighting the delicate balance between tradition, ingenuity, and survival in an underground industry. Sign up for our newsletter with legal scrutiny tightening. The Moonshiners proved that their craft is not just about making liquor, it's about outsmarting the law. After weeks of surveillance by an unidentified pickup truck, veteran moonshiners Mark Ramsey and Digger Maines found compelling evidence suggesting they were under law enforcement investigation. Determined to eliminate any incriminating material, they enlisted the help of fellow moonshiners Kelly and Amanda to dismantle their still site. Reflecting on their recent expansion efforts, Mark expressed regret, acknowledging that their ambition may have attracted unwanted attention. Their suspicions were confirmed when they noticed a sheriff's vehicle tailing them. The situation intensified with Captain David Robertson's arrival, a law enforcement officer with a history of pursuing the duo. Both Mark and Digger were handcuffed and placed in the back of the sheriff's car. A search of their truck revealed a copper still. However, due to a strategically placed hole by their associate Kenny, the still was rendered inoperable, preventing any immediate arrests. After losing their original still site, Mike Cockrell and Jerry Benson sought alternative methods to meet their production demands. Mike aimed for a 40-gallon run to offset their losses, but had to settle for a 25-gallon batch of eggnog shine alongside Jerry's 20-gallon order of peppermint shine. To optimize efficiency, they engineered a column that could still produce two proofs simultaneously. Using a sugar wash to create a neutral spirit, they could infuse two distinct flavors at the end of the distillation process. This innovative approach proved successful, allowing them to fulfill both orders concurrently. Their ingenuity showcased their expertise and demonstrated how moonshiners continue to evolve their craft and stay ahead of legal moonshiners. In his final run, Kenny Law, alongside Stephen Ray Tickle and Henry Law, extended their expertise to assist moonshining legend Danielle Parton in crafting a lavender-infused moonshine. While Kenny expressed concerns about potential complications from essential oils, he suggested that a high-proof liquor might mitigate these issues. They employed a mini-submarine pot to redistill Danielle's liquor, a process requiring meticulous attention due to the flammable nature of the ingredients. The endeavor culminated in a successful batch of lavender moonshine, impressing Danielle and inspiring her to consider commercial production of the unique spirit. Tickle was also inspired to make a run of illegal lavender moonshine, which could help Danielle's legal operation and vice versa. Moonshiners Season 14 Final. Mark and Digger evade arrest as the law closes in the moonshine-making world has never been more intense than in the Season 14 final of Moonshiners, as the law enforcement pressure mounts and the stakes reach unprecedented heights. This final episode, a culmination of months of hard work, cunning, and adrenaline, centers around two of the most beloved and skilled moonshiners in the Appalachian region, Mark and Digger. As always, these two have been pushing the boundaries of their craft, experimenting with new recipes, and facing down both the unpredictable nature of moonshining and the ever-present threat of the law. For fans of the show, the final wasn't just about watching a batch of moonshine being distilled. It was about witnessing the culmination of everything Mark and Digger had worked for, and the looming, very real danger that their moonshine empire could come crashing down at any moment. The build-up. A season of triumphs and tensions throughout the season. Mark and Digger have shown time and again why they are at the top of their game. With a mix of old-school techniques and modern innovation, they've earned a reputation not only for producing some of the best moonshine in the business, but also for their ability to dodge law enforcement. As the finale approaches, though, pressure is building. Tensions are rising not only between the Moonshiners and their rivals, but also between them and the local authorities, who seem more determined than ever to put an end to their operation. Camouflage or intricate networks of lookouts, Mark and Digger's success comes from their uncanny ability to outthink and outmaneuver the law. But this time, it's different. The feds are closing in, and they've been putting increasing pressure on the local sheriffs, making it harder for the two to stay one step ahead. As the season nears its end, viewers are on the edge of their seats. They know it's coming. The ultimate confrontation. The question isn't if the law will find them, but when. Mark and Digger's relationship with the authorities has always been one of cat and mouse, but now there's a sense of urgency. Their success has drawn attention, and their daringness has caught the eyes of those who are tasked with shutting them down. The last batch. A gamble like no other. In the final episode, Mark and Digger make their boldest move yet. They decide to craft a batch of moonshine so potent and so carefully engineered that it could secure their financial future. Mark has spent years perfecting his recipe, but this batch would be unlike anything they've ever produced. The stakes are incredibly high. If they succeed, they'll have a legendary recipe that will keep their operation running smoothly for years. But if they fail, they risk losing everything, not just their stills, but their freedom. The two Moonshiners work under the cover of night, deep in the woods, with only their trusted crew to assist them. The air is thick with anticipation as they move methodically through each step of the distillation process, their hands steady but their minds racing. There's no room for error, not with the law breathing down their necks. But as the shine begins to flow, they hear the unmistakable sound of sirens in the distance. Panic sets in. The last thing they want is for this batch to be their last batch, both professionally and personally. Mark and Digger exchange glances, their seasoned faces betraying a mix of resolve and unease. They know this could be the end. The pursuit. A heart-stopping game of cat and mouse. The sirens get louder, and before long, Mark and Digger realize that the law is coming straight for them. The sheriff's department has been tipped off, and this time, there's no escaping the dragnet that's being set in motion. The duo quickly moves to hide their stash, securing the moonshine in places that only they know about. But the authorities are relentless, and they won't stop until they have them in handcuffs. What follows is a masterclass in evasion. With the knowledge of their local terrain and a lifetime of experience in outsmarting the law, Mark and Digger lead the authorities on a high-speed chase through the hills of Appalachia. The rugged terrain is their ally, but it's also fraught with danger. The Moonshiners are experts at navigating the winding roads and dense forests, but the law is determined, and the chase is more intense than ever before. As they race through the hills, Mark and Digger employ every trick they've learned over the years, from cutting off the main roads to using hidden trails only known to those who grew up in the area. The authorities, though skilled, are increasingly frustrated as the duo seems to be one step ahead at every turn. Meanwhile, viewers are on the edge of their seats, holding their breath as Mark and Digger's every move becomes more and more desperate. The clock is ticking, and the law is closing in. Will they make it out of this alive? Or is this the end of the road for their moonshine operation? Their final escape. A moment of triumph What can only be described as a heart-pounding final, Mark and Digger make a daring move that will have viewers talking long after the credits roll. With the law hot on their heels, they execute a perfectly timed maneuver, using a combination of their knowledge of the local landscape and a little bit of luck. The move is risky, but it works. In a tense sequence, the Moonshiners disappear into the woods, and the authorities are left scrambling to find them. Mark and Digger, though, have managed to evade capture for now. The final ends with a nail-biting cliffhanger, leaving fans wondering what's next for these two legendary Moonshiners. Reflections and what's next for Mark and Digger as the dust settles and the final comes to an end. Fans are left with one final thought. What's next for Mark and Digger? The duo has proven time and again that they are masters of their craft, but the increasing pressure from law enforcement is something that even they can't ignore forever. The finale hints at a future where Mark and Digger may need to make some tough decisions. Will they continue to risk their freedom for the sake of the shine, or will they find a way to outwit the authorities once and for all? Their love for the craft is undeniable, but as the stakes get higher and the risks grow greater, it's clear that the game is changing. For now, though, Mark and Digger have succeeded in evading the law, and their victory is bittersweet. They